Welcome students. In this topic, we will learn about square butt joint on 2 mm thick MS sheet in flat position using OAW process.
Objectives.
At the end of this topic, you will be able to select appropriate filler rod for tack welding and welding process. Prepare and set sheets for square butt joint in flat position. Tack weld. Inspect the weldments for defects. Now, let us look at the tools required for a square butt joint on 2 mm thick MS sheet in flat position using OAW process. Steel rule, scriber, nozzle, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, tongs, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, copper-coated mild steel filler rod, oxygen and acetylene cylinder and welding torch, personal protective equipment. Now, let us look at the pre-welding preparations for square butt joint on 2 mm thick MS sheet in flat position by OAW process. Use personal protective equipment for safety purposes. Cut 2 mm thick MS sheets. (150 mm length by 50 mm width). File or grind the edges to square and ensure thorough cleaning of the joining edges. Set the weld pieces on the welding table to form a square butt joint. With a root gap 1 mm, set the gas welding plant. Fix nozzle number 7. Adjust the pressure of oxygen between 0.5 and 1.41 kg per square centimeter and acetylene at 0.8 to 0.15 kg per square centimeter. Select a 1.6 mm CCMS filler rod for tacking and welding. Set neutral flame. With a root gap 1 mm, tack weld the joint at equal intervals to hold them together, maintaining the alignment. Ensure that the distance between the tack welds is 75 mm and the length of the tack welders 6 mm. We have seen the pre-welding preparations. Now, let us look at the welding process of square butt joint on 2 mm thick MS sheet in flat position by OAW process. Start the weld at the right end of the joint. Keep free space under the joint for complete penetration. Weld a well-fused uniform bead with complete penetration using leftward technique. Manipulate the blowpipe to maintain necessary motion and the recommended angle of the blowpipe and the filler rod. Maintain uniform travel speed and feed to the flame and filler rod. Maintain a keyhole, which is a clear indication that the melting is taking place up to the bottom of the root of the joint, ensuring better root penetration. Clean the deposited bead using a wire brush. Now, we will look at the important points to follow for a square butt joint on 2 mm thick MS sheet in flat position using OAW process. Wear safety apparels and gas welding goggles. Checking the uniformity of width and height of the weld bead in size. Inspect the quality of weld by checking the finishing weld. Blow holes. Lack of fusion. Uneven ripples. Lack of penetration. Recap.
In this topic, you have learned to select the appropriate filler rod for tack welding and welding process. Prepare and set sheets for square butt joint in flat position. Tack weld, inspect the weldments for defects.